Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 323 of the Drunk Testers podcast. As always, I'm Tyler, and join me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Tyler, man, it is finally that time of the year, E3. I am so freaking excited it's here. But at the same time, I'm kind of disappointed that so far the press conferences and what's been unveiled have not really lived up to expectations so far.
No. Yeah, it's like it's Christmas for gamers every year. E3, kind of like Christmas because we just see all the shit that we want to buy we can't buy yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely been it feels like across the board for everybody. Like there's been stuff here and there like everybody likes, but it's not been the same kind of E3 that we're used to. But yeah, I agree. It's been lackluster. There's been good stuff, but yeah, they're like not been like we're used to. I'm definitely like don't get me wrong. Like it's still E3. It's still awesome. There's still been like I said, cool shit, but not hitting the bar that we've been spoiled the last few years for E3s. I feel like everybody's gotten better with press conferences, especially with pacing and things like that. Like you think of some of the older ones that were like 2+ hours or just even though we're an hour and a half. It's just like these are awful. They're just dragging on, and the pacing's been better. Like you like I'm bored of this game, but in 3 minutes they'll be on to the next shit. It's been a very millennial pace, but yeah. So we're back doing our seventh E3 coverage for us.
7th year in a row, dude.
Yeah. I mean, our first episode was covering E3 2013, so
That's very true.
well, the first one that we released, anyways. But yeah. So we are back. We're tonight. Because we're gonna record. This is Monday night. We're going to record a few episodes tonight and then the rest tomorrow. Tonight we're covering Microsoft, Bethesda, and Ubisoft. Those will obviously, I mean, I guess if you're listening to this one, they'll all be released late Monday night, throughout Monday night and early Tuesday. And then well, tomorrow night we'll do Square Enix, Nintendo, and we'll cover anything else. What is it? Is it just Square Enix and Nintendo are left after that?
I think it's just Square Enix and Nintendo that's left after that.
And then we'll cover those. Those come out Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and then we'll have like our best and worst of E3 conversation, and that will release later in the week. But yeah, that's kind of our plan. So I guess we got a lot to cover tonight. So let's just for us go ahead and jump right into the first. Actually, before we get to Microsoft, we're gonna go in order of which they happen. I watched a little bit of the EA play. I checked out the Devolver Digital. Anything for you that you want to talk about before we jump into Microsoft?
Let's see. Honestly, the only thing I really saw of the EA press conference before I got bored to death and just turned it off, I just basically watched that Star Wars trailer, which it was all right and stuff. Greg Miller going through covering the stuff. It was okay and stuff. I realized he had to do some last minute stuff, but it's kind of funny that was just seeing the reaction from like the chat when like Greg Miller or something just pops up on here and stuff, and people are not used to how his style is.
Yeah.
Because quintessentially, you and I both know is like he can be very abrasive. He can be very like this and that. I mean, that's just him. He's usually excited. He loves games, and so a lot of it was just like pokey to and from like of Greg Miller, the presenter and stuff. But game wise, I thought that that Star Wars game, it was all right. But we didn't really see. I thought it was not kind of represented well when it was first introduced, the gameplay and stuff. Not like in the Microsoft press conference. But let's see. What? Oh, that's just pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I watched the Star Wars Jedi Fallen. What was it, Jedi Fallen or Fallen? I don't know, whatever. Anyways, Fallen Order.
Right.
Yeah, I watched the gameplay for that. I checked out the Mad stuff. The rest of it was just, it was there. I agree with you. It wasn't really anything worth talking about. Devolver Digital I checked out. I talk about their games always look really cool to me, and then I just never end up really liking them that much. So, yeah, there wasn't really anything that stuck out for me in that one either. So I guess that was quick. We'll go to Microsoft now. So what we're going to do is I tried my best to take notes of everything, the stuff that happened during each press conference. I'll run through them real fast, and we'll discuss our thoughts on them overall. So Microsoft started off. It started off with not Bethesda, Obsidian's, who used to publish games for Bethesda, or used to develop games for Bethesda. Their game Outer Wilds, which looks like kind of like a more colorful Fallout game, is coming out October 25th. It's going to be on everything, but it's going to be on Game Pass for Xbox. So if you have Game Pass, it's on there already. Ninja Theory
Right.
announced their first game called Bleeding Edge. It's a 4v4 third-person shooter. Oh, sorry if you hear the motorcycle in the background. But
No
they have
problem.
yeah, sorry about that. But they have an alpha coming out for it. I believe in July is what they said. I forgot to write that down.
Right.
But there's an alpha you can sign up to be involved in. Then Ori and the Will of the Wisp comes out February 11th. We got a new trailer for that, so that's coming out next year. Minecraft Dungeons is out in spring 2020. We got another trailer for Star Wars Fallen Order. This one I think was a big shock for people. Blair Witch is out August 30th. I thought that was Outlast 3 when they started showing it. A lot of people thought it was Alan Wake 2, but it turned out to be a Blair Witch game. There was a little bit of gameplay shown. It looked like had some narrative to it. It wasn't like some people were thinking it was like that Dead by Daylight, but it looks more like kind of like an Outlast type of game with a narrative to it. Then I think the biggest shock to everybody still at E3 is Cyberpunk 2077 had a trailer, but not only did it have a trailer, John Wick, aka Keanu Reeves, is involved in the game. I think everybody lost their fucking minds. And that game is coming out April 16th of 2020. Then we had a bit of a montage. Battletoads was shown off, no release date. This was coming out this year, but there was no release date for it. Legend of Wright is coming in 2020. Xbox Game Pass is on PC now. If you want to get involved with that, they announced a new thing called Game Pass Ultimate. I don't know if it's new, but it's the first time I heard of it. And I've heard a lot of
new.
Is it new? Okay.
It's new.
All right. So it's $15 a month, and that gives you Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Live Gold, and Xbox Game Pass for PC as well. And they have a deal right now for you can like go for a month. You can sign up for 1 month. You get the first month for $1, and then if you already have a previous account for anything, you can sign up for it, and it can like convert your stuff over. So like today I went because I during Black Friday I bought for $60 I got a year Game Pass and a year Xbox Live Gold already, and I had it till almost, I think it was like November or December I had it. Well, that's basically I bought it for $60, but typically those things are $10 a month, so $120. So I went in and I converted it, and they'll credit your account and add that to your time. So nice. I was paying to them, I was paying $20 a month for the service. When now I'm paying $15, so now I don't have to pay for it until April of 2020. So if you already, so just because I was confused about it, a lot of people were asking questions, and I just looked it up, and this is what you get. So if you already have both, you sign up for you're not paying month to month, but already have both for a long term. You can do that, and they'll do that for up to 36 months. So if you for 3 years, it's awesome. I went from having to buy a new thing for both in December to now I have to pay for any of it till April. Then announced was a new flight simulator game, which is actually, fun fact, Justin's game of the show so far. We've been texting back and forth so a little bit about E3. Age of Empires 2 is getting a remaster. There was no game timeline when it was coming out; just was announced. Wasteland 3 got a trailer. Double Fine Studios was bought by Microsoft. Then we got a Psychonauts 2 trailer, but that game is still coming everywhere, but it'll be on Game Pass when it comes out as well. So if you already have Game Pass, you have that. So yeah, that is a thing. Then we had announced Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, which is going to cover all 7 of the 7 mainline StarArs games. That's coming out in 2020. Dragon Ball Kakarot is coming out early 2020. It's a Dragon Ball. Did I say that right?
No. No,
how do you say
not
it?
in the least. Man, that was pretty funny. It's not like carrot.
Carrot.
Anyway,
Karateka.
No. You're not gonna believe me when I do say it's actual like a name.
Okay.
Oh God, I laughed so hard that fucking cough. Anyway,
I killed Gables.
Okay, so basically, what the name is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Kakarot?
Yeah.
You're lying.
No, I'm not lying. That's what it's called, Kakarot.
I don't believe you, Gables. Kakarot? What?
Well, here's the thing. You know how, like, in the show, the main character's name is Goku?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, since he's part Saiyan and stuff, his actual name before he went to Earth was named Kakarot.
Kakarot.
Yep.
This is God. This is why I hate Dragon Ball.
Just because of a name like that, yeah.
It just adds to the reasons why I hate it. Just when I started to not hate it as much, this happens.
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
You and anime is just pretty funny.
Anyways, it's a open world RPG, I think, in the Dragon Ball universe. Then we had a game called 12 Minutes. That's coming soon. I guess it's coming early 2020. It's like a top-down game. It takes place in a room like where someone breaks in, a wife keeps killing, or wife keeps getting killed by somebody, and you go through this loop over and over again, and you're trying to, like, as a husband, trying to save her.
Right.
Yeah. Then we had Way of the Woods, which is like a game with a baby deer and a deer, and it looks like a cool art style. It looks like very much like a Tyler game. That is coming in 2020 as well. That's gonna be on Game Pass. Then next up we had Gears 5 was shown off. That is coming out on September 5th. But if you get Game Pass Ultimate, like I just signed up for, and like you can, you get it 4 days early. You get the Ultimate Edition, so you get it on September 1st. But they didn't really show any gameplay. They announced a new horde mode type thing you can do. I can't remember what it's called. And there was like a trailer, but there was no gameplay. Then they announced a new Xbox Elite controller. Like I think it's like Elite 2.0 or something like that.
Yep. Or something like that, Elite 2 or whatever the hell. It was like the second version, like a version 2.
Yeah. So that's coming out. It's $180. I don't remember if they gave a date. But
ooh, that's even more than what they were charging for the first.
Yeah, I think that one's like $150.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So they announced that Terminator's gonna be in Gears. I think he's gonna be in like the multiplayer and stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's coming to it. I guess that's gonna be the first of many. But also then we had Dying Light 2. That's coming out in next spring. So we had some. It was no. I don't think there was any gameplay for that one. It was just kind of a story trailer. Then Forza Horizon 4, which I was kind of shocked. I was waiting for the next Forza game. There's so many though. I honestly thought this was the next Forza game for a while. That it was a Lego game.
I know, right?
But it's actually just.
Oh God, that was fucking super weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's the Forza. They're skipping Forza this year. I didn't know if that was. They already said that before or not, but I had known it. But that is. We're getting a Lego expansion, which comes out on June 13th. So I think that's Friday. I believe that's free as well. I can't remember if that was free or not. Then we had a Gears Pop, which is the fucking pop little mini guys you can buy. There's a Gears game coming for that. They announced it last year. They said the pre-order is coming soon. Looks like it's kind of generic. It looks like horde mode on your phone type of thing, but it's really just like a tower defense looking game. Right. Then State of Decay 2 has a little DLC pack coming, or expansion DLC, whatever you want to call it, called Heartland. That is out now. That is free for people but it's on without Game Pass or our own State of Decay 2. Phantasy Star Online 2 is coming out in spring 2020 to Xbox One exclusively, which, fun fact, I didn't know this, but they said that Phantasy Star Online 2 was coming to the consoles in the West in 2012.
They did.
So
they did.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that tweet,
yeah.
And it didn't come to the West for like 7 years.
Yeah. At that point, it'll be 8 years. They basically missed 2 generations. It missed the end of one and missed 2 whole generations.
Yeah, because that was basically like a PlayStation Vita game, I want to say, in Japan.
Well, I think it's a popular like PC game too, isn't it? In Japan?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's finally coming over. Crossfire X, which I guess Crossfire is a really popular game in China, like an online MMO. But Crossfire X is coming to Xbox first in 2020. There was just no gameplay, just a trailer for that, all CG. Tales of Arise is coming in 2020. It's the next game from the Bandai Namco team that makes the Tales of games. Got another Borderlands 3 trailer. Elden Ring is the new game from the Dark Souls people, and George R. R. Martin from Game of Thrones is helping write the story for this, so that they're kind of including together. That leaked out the night before, though, so that not the trailer, but it was on the show there. There's some CG trailer, but there was no like some stuff came out later. It's an open world RPG, basically, but Souls. They announced that Project X Cloud, which is going to be like a thing where you can stream your Xbox games anywhere, is coming out this October. Project Scarlet, which is the name of the next console. They got a little thing for that. We're talking about all the teraflops, like we always like Xbox likes to do when they
Oh
release
yeah.
something new. That's coming in holiday 2020. And then they announced that Halo Infinite, we got a little CG trailer for that as well. Halo Infinite is launching with Scarlet next holiday season. So that was everything that was shown off in the trailer. It was about an hour, a little over an hour and a half, I want to say.
Yeah.
So, Gables, what was your overall thoughts on the trailer or the press conference, good or bad?
For the entirety of the Microsoft press conference, I felt that there were plenty of things that were kind of lacking in some retrospect. Well, first and foremost, I felt that there were moments inside that conference that was very fun just to watch. Especially when you went through like CD Projekt Red's game Cyberpunk 2077, and all of a sudden it's like you go through this sort of dark edge sort of scenery, right? You're talking to this mob boss and stuff like that. All of a sudden it's like your character is like getting into this predicament, and all of a sudden you have some dude or something that just, come on man, come on, we gotta rise up and stuff, and all of a sudden you just look up and you see freaking Keanu Reeves. Man, when that moment struck, I'm like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? I was watching Giant Bomb stream and participating in a lot of their chat for yesterday. And it was hilarious. It's like on Twitch, just watching that happen just in real time and stuff. I'm like, everyone just started losing their shit. Even like a lot of the panelists and stuff, a lot of the journalists are like, what? Okay. And it just was even more magical when all of a sudden you just pop on the freaking Microsoft stage, you see Keanu Reeves just like pop out and stuff, and everybody's just losing their shit. And all of a sudden it's like he's trying to talk about the freaking game or something like that. It's like, and all of a sudden it's like just one person in the crowd goes like, "Oh man, you're breathtaking." It's like, no, you're breathtaking.
Which fun fact? Oh yeah, you're okay. You're gonna say it too. Yeah.
Yeah, which fun fact? After the guy who said that to Keanu Reeves is actually to get Cyberpunk for free.
Yeah. Yep. He's actually like
That's
a
amazing.
YouTuber as well. That's getting that. So.
Oh, here you go. that was probably the best part of that press conference for me, because that was organic, that was out of nowhere, and it was an actual legitimate surprise that I was happy with.
Yes.
And quite honestly, it kind of makes me want to play Cyberpunk 2077 now. Not just for that. I mean that was just the icing on the cake for it. But let's see, there were other types of moments where I felt that was definitely a good positive and stuff. I did like initially how the Battletoads stuff was shown off in the trailer. It looks sort of like an average beat 'em up at best, though. I definitely had some bit of questions of the quality of it because of it's being from this current. I think it's being made by Rare still, the studio in development.
I think you're right.
But at the same point, I look at the 3-player co-op and everything else and stuff. It just kind of looks like a generic beat 'em up to me. I just kind of felt indifferent. And I know a lot of the other people that were inside the chat, in Giant Bomb's chat for Twitch, it was just like, okay, next, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Just like a bunch of... there was just a lot of negativity that kind of surround things and some bits of the announcements and here and there and stuff. I'll tell you what that just did make sense. They go forth with the whole Forza announcement stuff, and all of a sudden you just see... Just all of a sudden these random Legos. And I'm just looking at myself, I'm just thinking to myself while watching this, this is really fucking out of place. I mean, this is really out of place. You have this hyper-realistic racer, and all of a sudden you have these freaking Legos. Probably the most, the exact opposite. And it looks so super weird that you have a hyper-realistic Lego car just going down the road with these Lego people. And what's most hilarious is, on the stage, they have a freaking car that works entirely made out of Legos. On the Microsoft stage. Gosh, that freaking conference had a little bit of everything in regards to classic Microsoft announcements and stuff. You have celebrity endorsements, you have these crazy nonchalant vehicles and other stuff. But let's see. But yeah, other than those little bits of the moments though, there were just a lot of questions I kind of had and stuff. Well, the questions in regards to how they revealed Gears of War 5. That trailer, which it was kind of freaky in and of itself, the whole multiple personality things, which I know I never really beat Gears of War 4 I mean, I have the game. I could download it on my PC and probably play it if I want, but it sort of gave me kind of a little bit of hints of that one pay-per-view back in the WWF had back in the day. It was the whole... You remember that poster back in the day, Tyler, where it's like for the Judgment Day, I think it was either 98 or 99, and it's freaking Steve Austin, and he's like 3 heads of him and stuff, and it was just kind of weird looking.
Yep.
It definitely gave me vibes of that, and that... it was so freaking out of place. It's like, this is how you introduce your new Gears game that's supposed to be releasing September of this year. But I think they showed little bits of gameplay of it. I'm not sure, because I had to step out of the bathroom at that point. But honestly, between Gears and then like a little bit of Halo Infinite and stuff that they showed towards the end of that presser and stuff, which is right now is confirmed to be a like a Project Scarlet like exclusive like launch game apparently. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really wasn't like too impressed with this conference overall. There was too many like third-party stuff that was kind of overshadowing certain things. Of course, it didn't help as well that there were some things that were spoiled before, like a couple days before the conference even came out. Especially the things with George R.R. like the R.R. Martin stuff like that, and yeah, like the whole freaking Rings of a thing, which it looked all right and stuff. But there was so much trailers in this type of situation where there were some bits of excitement I felt, but honestly, it was just a lot of trailers, too few gameplay, and from the stuff that was supposedly exclusive for like Xbox and stuff, I really wasn't too excited for it. But what was most disappointing I kind of felt was when they were talking about like the Project Scarlet, their next console, and they gave that initial release thing of like holiday 2020, there was nothing in regards to say the actual possible look of the console. It seemed like it's still like in almost like in like early stages of like development still.
Yeah, well,
personally,
I think probably most of it's put in place, but I bet that I mean, we didn't see the Xbox One until 2 weeks before E3 in 2013. We didn't see the PS4 until February of 2013. So I bet they probably have a good idea what it's going to look like and what's going to go in it, but I think it's that's going to be something they're going to save until we get closer to E3 next year for both of them, PS5 and the new Xbox.
I definitely felt that the other good thing that I was referencing before about this press conference was the unification of Xbox Live and the Game Pass, and then all of a sudden having the Game Pass Ultimate like stacked on top of those couple things if you had already for like $1.
Yeah.
You know, that was definitely a step in the right direction. That was like a kind of a hit out of the park in baseball lingo and stuff when it comes to this type of a deal, because now you got access to playing Xbox games on your PC through like with Game Pass on top of other games that you pretty much probably would have already played on Steam or whatever. But that's just me kind of ranting a bit. But overall, my overall thoughts of the Microsoft press conference is it was a step back from last year.
Okay.
It definitely was kind of like a little bit like, it felt like they were hitting upon a lot of checkpoints that they were trying to initially go for, like specific people that have been asking for things for a while. Like, for example, it was definitely very surprising to see Phantasy Star Online 2 like all of a sudden just be announced exclusive thing for like the Xbox One, and that's all well and dandy and stuff. But at the same point, this is a game that's like freaking 8 years old that's now coming on to this system, and on top of that, it's gonna be it's definitely gonna be replaced and stuff like that, the console and stuff. So it's like, okay, they got that. They got like Tales of Arise that they announced and stuff. That's nice though, but if that thing's already on PS4, nobody's not even going ahead and touch that system for a Japanese RPG. I mean, traditionally, people don't play Japanese RPGs on Xbox consoles.
Nope.
But if I had to give it a grade, I'd give it a C.
So like a 7 out of 10, you think?
Yeah, okay. I'd round the 7 out of 10.
Okay. We can do half points if you want to go 7.5, you can. Not pushing, just letting you know.
I think it's like a solid 7. That's what I would think.
Okay. All right. Well, So I'm just gonna run through everything here for myself. Like Outer Wilds, I think looks really cool, but I'm not like Fallout 4. Kind of like just kind of made me dislike those kind of games for like those like that Fallout style game. Um,
Yeah.
so like looking at this, it looks a lot better. Like the shooting and all the mechanics look a lot better. It's gonna be on Game Pass, which I have now for the
Right.
next year almost. So it's definitely a game I'm gonna check out. Um, I will say I love what they did with the Game Pass. Like they like Metro Exodus is on there now, which sucks because I
Yes.
bought that game at launch and I still have yet to play it. and
And
now,
now it's on Game
yeah, now
Pass.
it's
You
on
can
Game
play for
Pass. I
free.
could have played it for free this whole time. Yeah. So I love what they're doing with Game Pass. I want to point that out right away. Like the Ultimate stuff is great. Like I just got a basically additional 3 or 4 months for basically free. So I definitely want to check. I'm gonna definitely check out Outer Wilds now because of Game Pass. This is a game I don't think, like I said, like Fallout 4 burned me on it. This looks like the mechanics look way better. Like it looks like it has a Fallout style, but if it runs better and if it plays better and doesn't have the bullshit loop of the what killed me on Fallout really more than anything was actually the loop of picking up all the junk, running out of like being incumbent because you have too much shit, so you have all the you can't carry any more shit. Go spend 15 minutes going back somewhere, selling all the shit, fast travel back to where you were. It just that whole loop just killed me. So if they can get rid of that and it's like all the good parts of Fallout minus minus the incumbent shit and the loading screens, I'll be in. And better shooting. Ninja Theory, the new game Bleeding Edge, really upset me. I love Ninja Theory's games. Enslaved was
Yeah.
incredible. Hellblade is one of the best games of this generation to me. It was, I think, my fourth favorite game in the greatest year of gaming of 2000. And that was 2017. I
Yeah.
love that game, Hellblade. And Enslaved was just one of the best like cult classics. Probably the most underrated game, one of the most underrated games of the last generation. And then see they're doing a 4v4 style, character driven fighting shooting game, third person shooter.
That looks more of akin of like an Overwatch
Yeah,
clone or a Battleborn sort
yeah.
of esque inspired sort of game.
It's like there's a million of these. We see these all the time. It's just like, oh, God damn it, guys. Okay, like, hey, I mean, I'm not gonna knock them for doing something different. I'm sure because they like third person action adventure games, I'm sure, like with great narratives. Like maybe they're just kind of tired of them because that's basically all they made. Like it shows every
Yeah.
game they've ever made, and I'm like, I love all of those games. Like all those games are great, and it just kind of sucks to see them like, hey, like good for you doing something different. Hopefully it works out great. But this is
Right.
I'm not blaming Microsoft for that or anything. I'm not trying to say that, but I was a little bummed out to see that. Ori and the Will of the Wisp looks absolutely stunning. This is
Agreed.
if this is a game if I was a better gamer, this would be one of the best games of all time to me. I love Ori and was it in the Blind Forest or Ori in the
Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest.
yeah, like that game is fucking fantastic. I'm just terrible at that game. Like I was gonna break my fucking controller and my TV and everything I own because of that game. But I love that game. It's just I suck at it. But this game looks and it looks like we just like, hey, this game was great, way better than we thought it was gonna be, way more accessible than we thought it was gonna be. Here's more money. Like it's just on a grander scale. It looks incredible. It's on Game Pass, so I'm gonna definitely try to check it out. But who knows how far I'll make it. Minecraft Dungeons, I don't give a shit about. What's funny is we were talking on top of the show about the Star Wars Fallen Order stuff we got at EA's thing. I'm like, this looks all right. I was more engrossed in the 3-minute trailer we got at Microsoft than I was with the 15-minute gameplay we got shown at EA's. I don't know why, but it stuck with me a little more than what we got from EA. Blair Witch.
Yeah, it was definitely like presented in a way that was like felt better than what EA had presented it as.
Yeah. Blair Witch looks awesome. One of my favorite games. One of the games after the show was over, I was like, games I'm more excited about. It comes out August 30th. I think that's on Game Pass as well. I'm not sure. But that's a game I definitely want to check out. I want to see more from first, but it looks really cool.
Well, here's a funny story about the whole Blair Witch unveil. So basically, while I was in the chat for Giant Bomb and stuff, we're just like going for watch the footage. Just like at first, I was thinking, oh, what is this? The new Outlast or something like that? And then it's like I just see little bits like the driving. And said, no, they don't have cinematics like that. It looks more like an Alan Wake. Then all of a sudden, we just started joking. It's like, oh, hey, look at this. What is this, Blair Witch? And all of a sudden, it just pops up Blair Witch. Like, oh my god, it is! And everyone just starts laughing at the chat.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was an awesome unveiling, yes, but it's like it was just hilarious because it's Blair Witch. Eh,
Yeah.
just something.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knew that in 2019 would be excited for Blair Witch? Um,
Nobody in this generational day and age is gonna recognize what the fuck Blair
yeah.
Witch
Probably
is.
to them it's a new IP.
To them, it's a new IP. To us, it's like a fucking movie from 1999 that was just
Yeah.
a campy as shit movie that was fake.
That scared the shit out of me as a child.
Exactly.
Cyberpunk 2077. It's always been like that's always been a game I've been moderately excited for. Like I always respect CG Product Red's game. Like I played a shit ton of Witcher 2. I dabbled a little bit on Witcher on PC. Like when I tried to like really get into the Witcher games, and like they're really good games. I just burned out on them really like because they're just so long. There's so much content there. I just burned out on them. Like I put like 40 hours in Witcher 2, and I looked up where I was, and I'm like a third of the way through this game. Like, so like it's not a bad. I didn't even touch Witcher 3 for that reason. But like this game looks really cool. It looks more kind of up my alley than like the Witcher style games. But it went from like I was moderately excited about this game to like now I'm like freaking out. As a fan of Keanu Reeves lately with the last few years because of John Wick, like I'm fanboying up right now because of him being insane. If he's just John Wick and like the name of his character in this game is Jonathan or Johnny Silverblade, which fuck yeah, man. All right.
That is a fucking awesome
That's a great name.
for
That's a great name. So
Johnny Silverblade.
yeah. So and he was just great. Keanu was great. Still, can my game of E3 be Keanu Reeves? Like, is that what a fan can do?
Too, because that was just basically the freaking whole like E3 in a nutshell. It's just Keanu Reeves just coming out and just presenting this. Here's this.
Yeah.
No, you're breathtaking.
Yeah, he was great. I love him. Then there was like a big lull in the middle here of the press conference. And really the rest of it just didn't like. My biggest complaint with this press conference, there's a lot of great stuff in here, but it felt very front loaded. Like we had Outer Wilds, then they had the Ninja Theory, Ori, Star Wars, Blair Witch, Cyberpunk. And then they just never really came back after that. I felt like there was some good stuff in between there, but it just never fully came back. Like for me, like 12 minutes looks really cool. Like that's a game I'm really like the one I was talking about with like you're in a loop over and over again with your wife dying. That game looks really interesting. I want to check it out. Way of the Woods, the game with the deers. That's like a Tyler game for sure. Gears 5, which going into it was a game I was most anticipating for this press conference. Like the things we knew.
Right. I was kind of waiting for like Gears 5 and see what it was too. You know.
Yeah. And they come out and like this game, this is your biggest game of the year. Like this is the biggest game. Maybe Outer Wilds is a 1A or 2, but this is like your biggest game you're releasing this year. It's fucking Gears, and you come out and it's 10-15 minutes, and they didn't show a second of gameplay. They showed a teaser trailer for a game mode. They did this weird like camera thing when they went under the stage, and it's like, oh, this is really cool, but they didn't show shit. And like this game's coming out in less than 3 months. And
I know
they said they're going to show more this summer. That's cool, but this is E3. This is your time to show that fucking game off. This is Gears. This is bigger than gaming. Like this is like everything else they showed is stuff that's going maybe outside of Cyberpunk is like that's cool for gamers. Gears kind of it's up there with Halo and Call of Duty and shit. Like people of more the non-hardcore gamers that sticks out to them. Like Gears of War sticks out to them. Like that's a big brand, and this is what you showed. Like you showed more last year when they revealed the game with gameplay.
That's very
than you
true.
showed this year, which is nuts to me. The Terminator thing in Gears is just weird. Gears pop. I don't fucking care. Like Elden Ring.
It's just a mobile game.
Yeah, like Elden Ring would be cool to me if it wasn't Dark Souls because I love Game of Thrones. I respect Dark Souls as a game, but it's just not my bag. Project X Cloud sounds really cool, and it's kind of cool that they're like it's not cool, but it's interesting that they're undercutting. Like Google Stadia is coming out in November, Project X Cloud is coming in October,
right?
And but it was weird. Like this was their time to like sell it, and they spent like 2 minutes on it, and they didn't really like explain it very well what it is. Like, hey, your Xbox now becomes a server. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Like, is this like, am I playing? Is this like remote play like on PS4 or onto my Vita? Like I like remote playing on my like. Do I have to use my Xbox One to play these games on my phone or play them on my laptop? Play them anywhere? Do I need to be access to my console? Am I just logging into an account and playing it anywhere I want to?
It wasn't really specific, was it?
Yeah, I think they like the way they just kind of sold it and talked about it. I think it's more like what we think it's going to be, where you can play it anywhere. But the way they kind of made it sound, it was very confusing. Then with Project Scarlet, like announcing that, hey, it's coming out next holiday. It's weird that everybody knows it's coming. They've talked about Project Scarlet before and xCloud, but it's a year and a half away. Halo Infinite, like we didn't get really much out of it. We got a CG trailer for a couple minutes.
Yep.
So I don't know. I felt coming away from this, like this was like, maybe it's not fair to them. Maybe, I don't know, because with Sony falling out, everybody's like looking at Microsoft now. Like, you have to like kill E3. And every year for the last few years, like they've done some cool shit. Like we talk about, they've been the most consumer friendly of the three console makers the last few years. But every year we go into them, like, this is the year they're going to take over. This is the year they're going to, and they do like small incremental things that look really cool. They bought a bunch of new companies to help them make first party games, which they're doing. They're showing them off now, and a few of them are probably going to be a few years out. Like some of these games, like Hellblade, just came out in 2017. Like, so that game's the Ninja Theory game's probably a couple years off, or a year or so off. Like they bought like 14 studios in the last year, so some of these games are probably a couple years out. So maybe in 2020, 2021, they're going to come out and just fucking destroy. But this was the year like where they could have got all the third party, like everybody like third party that was left out. This is the year they could have came in and just like destroyed everything. And I felt like they showed us some cool stuff, like Phantasy Star Online 2, like come out in spring 2020, exclusive to Xbox. Like they had some interesting stuff, but like nothing blew you away. Outside Cyberpunk, which is coming in everything. That was the one thing that like blew everybody away with John. And that was just because kind of reason more than anything. And there's nothing exclusive coming to Xbox for that. I was just kind of bummed coming out of that. Like, it was still a really good press conference. I don't want to say that. I think there was too much hype around it. We were too much hyped up. Maybe it's our own faults for doing it. But I felt coming out of it, it's like this was their year. This was a layup, like for them. Like they had E3 in the palm of their hands, and they didn't deliver. For me, there was just a lot of like, hey, here's some cool stuff coming, but there wasn't like details and shit. There wasn't gameplay and stuff. There wasn't release dates. There was just like, here's some cool stuff coming in 2020, or here's some teasers for this game. Nothing, like I said, nothing blew us away besides Cyberpunk.
This felt like more like a prelude or something to next year. That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah, but that's what every E3 for Microsoft has felt like. It's like, here's stuff coming in the next year. Here's stuff coming in the next year. And
well, yeah, that's just the thing though. It's like ever since like Sony has taken control of this console generation, it kind of feels like Microsoft is just doing like a prelude, like every single like E3 is like, this is what we're gonna have next year, and then next year, and all of a sudden they unveil something that's kind of something interesting, but they say a little about it until like the very next year.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, they're doing all the right things. Maybe they're playing the long term. I still think that in a couple of years they could be on par with Sony. Sony's been killing it because of the first party games.
Yep.
And like Microsoft's killing everything else. They're the most consumer friendly. Xbox Game Pass is awesome. The Ultimate thing is incredible. All these great games, like potentially great games, like Gears is a game I'm gonna pay $60 for. I'm gonna get that for 4 days early. To me, like I paid $60 6 months ago for this thing, and I'm basically getting it for 15 months for $60. This thing, service I should be paying $150 for, or $300 for. And so to me, I'm looking at this. I'm getting this game for free, in a weird sort of way. Like that's cool, but like, where's the gameplay? Like, sell this game to me. Like, even though I know I'm buying it, but like, what the fuck? Like, this should have been your big thing you show off at E3 this year. Gears 5 should have been the focus of like all these games. Like, that should have been your focus. And I probably spent more time on that game than anything else, and they showed zilch on it. So I don't know. Like, I know I'm probably being harsh on it. It was a good press conference. It's still the best one I think of E3 so far. But the hype killed it. With Sony falling out was probably the worst thing that maybe happened to them, because everybody just like, it's all or nothing for you guys. Like, you guys gotta deliver, and they
I kind of felt like people wouldn't have been so impactful upon this press conference in general if Sony had actually been there in terms of like their conference, because they normally would be coming and doing their conference right around now.
Yeah,
you know.
Square Enix just finished up a little bit ago as a recording. I caught the first hour. Gables and Tyler to watch it, but like this is like they would be going right now. I mean, it's like last year, like, and they keep every year they talk about, oh, we have 60 plus games, we have 70 plus games to show off, and every year it's like it's like, oh, cool, it was awesome, but nothing stood out. Like, you showed the most, but nothing stood out. Last year, Sony showed off 6 games. Six
Yep.
games. 4 of them they focused on for like an hour. Resident Evil 2 was announced, and they talked about a Rick and Morty VR game. That's it.
Yep.
A Rick and Morty VR game at that. And that was all they showed off the entire press conference. And to me, and to a lot of other people, they were probably the 1 or 2 best press conferences of the show. Like,
Right.
It was a quantity over quality, or for Microsoft, it's quantity over quality sometimes. Like they always talk about they talk about how many games they have to show off. But I would rather them show off 30 games in an hour and a half than 60 games and focus on those games or even 20 games or whatever. Like it's just I don't know. It's frustrating. I can't put the words that I'm thinking. Like I know what I want to say, but I can't put the words together to say them. Or know what I'm thinking. I just can't put the words together. But yeah, that's I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. It wasn't terrible. It was, like on paper, it's really good if you look at what they showed off. It's just, yeah, it just the hype I think killed it. And maybe we did it to ourselves. I don't know. But yeah, that will do for our Microsoft coverage. So check back with us in a little bit. We're going to cover the Bethesda conference next. So I'll be out here in a little bit, or probably another hour or so. I'm going to try to split them up over a couple hour breaks for everybody. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, happy E3, everyone. And make sure you listen to some fun-filled episodes of us, the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Bye, guys.
See ya.